the main advisor to get in and set up another advisor role login. Or if it's something like a parent volunteer, you might get set up with staff login. We'll show after we get logged in how we'll go about setting up multiple logins. So I'm just going to go ahead and
Are
put
we
in.
supposed to be able to see your screen?
Oh my goodness, was I not sharing that? Holy cow.
No, sir. We can't see anything.
Well, luckily I didn't get too far there. So I was just right here. So thank you for that. No, I'm but yeah, I didn't get too far. I was just here on this screen mostly the whole time. Um, so we didn't miss anything, but no, thanks for the heads up there. All right. So put in the advisor. If you're ringing, we'll put in our password here. And that's going to lead us into our home screen that we have here. So when you first get in, this is just kind of just a menu that we have here, a quick dashboard. We'll start off with your countdown module to where, it's just how many days you have left on your book. You'll then see total pages, and this is just kind of at a glance the status. So anything that you see in red or pages that are in red are not started. Yellow is in progress, green is completed, and black is submitted. Next over is upcoming events, and this will be, you'll have a few dates in here that are put in by your reps, like when your cover artwork needs to be in, portrait CD, and even your book submission date there. We also have a tagged images module, so it's going to tell you how many tagged images you have in the book. And then we go over images, which is just kind of goes over, what you've uploaded and what we've uploaded, and just kind of the different amounts of images that are here in your library. But you won't be spending too much time right here. This is, like I said, this is just some at a glance stuff. So from here, where we're going to go is the first thing we're going to do tonight is actually go over setting up multiple logins. To do that, we're going to go under the plan area of the program, and we're going to go to staff here. Okay, now when you first get into this area, you're going to see that you have a default advisor login. That's going to be over here. And it's just going to, you'll see it says first, last. And then you're going to see a first, last here that's under your staff section here. That's your default staff login. If you're the main advisor on the site, you can come over here, hit edit, and then add your first and last name to the main advisor login. And you won't be able to edit this username. That's there. You'll be able to update your password if you like. That's really all you'll want to do with the main advisor login that is there. So when it comes to setting up the different people that you'll want to join you, now, if you're the lone advisor working on this, you may just come in and just kind of edit this little advisor login, and then you're off to the races. Now, if you're an advisor that either is part of like a PTO group, or let's say you're an advisor that has a yearbook class and you've got students, then this is where you'll come and set up multiple logins. That way you can kind of oversee, what they're working on. You can keep track of their activity and so forth there. So if that, we'll just go up here and hit add staff. You'll put in a last name or a first name for your student, a last name, and you'll give them a username. Now the username that you put in, it'll need to be unique to something that you can't reuse the advisor, you can't reuse staff. A lot of times what we see here in the username spot would be either a nickname or like a combination of first name, last initial, or first initial, last name. Now, when you're setting up, if you're an advisor that's setting up a yearbook, for logins for a class, all of their usernames will need to be unique, to something like them. Like John Smith could be J Smith, or Joan Smith, or something like that. But when it comes to the password for all those students to make it easier on yourself, you can set up the same password for all of them. Something that has a capital, and it at least has a number within it. So while the username's unique, the password for all of them can be the same just to make it easier on yourself. And then it comes to email spot here, and this is optional. Now, what this spot is used for, what this email address is used for, it's used for the forgot my password link that's on the login screen. So um, a lot of times, a lot of students will not have their own email address, or if they do, you can certainly put it in there, and then if they ever get locked out, they can reset their password. Now, with a lot of schools, and depending on the age in that, elementary, middle school, a lot of them may not have school email addresses. What we kind of suggest for that case is for the teacher to put their email address in this spot, and then they will then get the password request from that student. When it comes in, the teacher can help reset it. And then you'll want to give them, a role of staff. Now the business manager role that is here, this is not functioning. We're actually looking to have this taken out, but we do have an editor role. Now the editor, it's not quite in between advisor and a staff. It's basically the editor is a staff role with a few extra privileges. So editor can go in and set up folders, whereas a staff can't set up folders in the image library. Um, and stuff like that. Only now it comes to the advisor, where editor and staff can lock pages. Only the advisor can unlock pages. Um, so that's just something to kind of mean. And also, editors and staff cannot submit pages. Only the advisor can do that as well. All right. Now, so that's all it takes to set up the login. Just give them, put in their name, give them a unique name, password, and that. Now, once you have these set up, um, from here, you'll really come back into this is, unless you have a new person adding on or someone needs to change their password. Now, another thing as advisor you can do, depending on the class or let's say you have someone leave a class, or maybe you have just a situation that you don't want this particular person to have access to the book anymore. As advisor and that, you'd be able to come over here and mark any one of those logins as like if you toggle it, it'll make it inactive, and that'll mean that that particular student is can't log in until you make them active again. So that's just something to have there. And here we have logins. So before we go, or actually I'm moving on from here, and I wanted to do this part first, because when we go, the next place I'm going to go and show you is going to the page ladder here. Because we needed those set up. All right, so a lot of times this will be one of the first places, after you get your logins, when every time you get in the book, usually the page ladder is going to be one of the first places that you come and check out. Your page ladder is this is your planning. As you work on your pages, they will update with previews of what you're working on. So that same color key we saw on the home page is in play here. Anything that's not started is in red. Anything that's been put in progress here is in yellow. If we complete a page, and that's going to be more or less down the road when we do the completing in that book, but I'll just go ahead and show you that's that green color. That's a completed page. Now, one of the first things a lot of people do, if you are a brand new advisor coming into this, you'll be coming in and laying out the initial groundwork of your book here. But for those that are returning, you'll have a start with last year. So what this will do for those that want to, like schools that like to keep using the same layouts over, or they have a particular look, or maybe you're a new advisor that's taking over and you just want some, a starting step, some place to, to start from. That way you're just, you've never used this before, or, you want to just build upon what was there. So what we'll do, if when I click start with last year, we're going to get a little prompt here. And what it's going to do, it's going to copy the page designs from the previous year to all not started pages. So definitely make sure to run this while you have all your pages not started. And when it copies the designs over, what this will do is it'll bring the page layouts from the previous year. I'll bring them, load them into your pages, but they'll be in template form, meaning photos have been taken out and text is reverted back to just kind of a filler type, ready for you to just to show you that a text box is there. That way you can clear out that default type that comes in, and you can replace it with your own. Sections and titles. This is something that was new, that was added this year to this. So if you had stuff set up, the different sections and had different page labels going on, section and topics will now come over as well. So I'm going to hit continue. So it's going to ask you, are you sure you cannot undo this action? Would you like to continue? Um, if you hit continue, while there is not a undo button or a clear button once we do this, um, not any of this is anything that's set in stone. So as you see, it brought over quite a bit of layouts and stuff that I had in my book from last year there. Now, just to show you what I mean by it's not set in stone. Even though we're kind of not working with the pages here, I'll just show you that you can quickly come into the page. You can highlight the stuff that's there and take it off. Or you can also easily just come in and drop a new template on. So just want to show you that what does carry over from that previous year, it can always be changed, but there's just not a clearing off that initial step that's there. But all in all, it's a really good feature to go with. For a returning advisor that has a certain look that they've been doing, they want to keep on going with that. It helps speed up the process. If you're a brand new advisor taking over, it kind of helps with the learning curve on, kind of easing you on that you have something to start with, and you're not having to come up with a whole new creation there. So definitely, if you have this, definitely worth clicking, get that started, and just always keep in mind that whatever you load, you can easily clear off or drop a new template on. All right, so now that we have that, then you might look at going through and doing your current sections and topics for this year. So what sections are here, if I go to the upper left, sections are going to be, if you want to apply these are like your main sections of the book: candid pages, class pages, sports, stuff like that. When you're adding a section, usually I just kind of put a space in there, but if you kind of start typing, it'll give you some options that you can go ahead and pick from. Now, if you don't see anything within here that you want to make a section for, you are able to come up here and type in your own, and then hit that and add it there. So you can type in that. Once you have your sections typed out, then come over and drag and drop them, and they'll change right up here at the top of the page. You see there. If you accidentally bring over the wrong section, you can click the drop down and easily just change it back to what it should be there. Oh, Didn't mean to do that. Sorry. So that'll be doing your sections that are there. So once you have your sections in play, and I'm going to change this one to class pages. Take off that one. So your topics work about the same way. Your topics are just the, what's going to be inside those sections a little more. So if it's, class pages, is it fifth grade or is it sixth grade? Or when it comes to the sports period, I've got six basketball here, baseball boys, or, the different stuff that's here. Again, there are tons of topics you can start typing if it's something. But if you start to put something in here, there is a whole list of topics that are here. If you click over to smart topics, all of those same topics can be kind of seen here. So definitely there is a lot to look through and choose from. But if you already know a few in your mind that you have that you use, you go ahead and type those in. I don't know if I had that. Oh, I did already have that added, but yeah, name already exists. Okay, so the same thing here. Once you get your topics in, then you start bringing those over to the pages. Now these topics, when you bring them over, you'll see the pages highlight there. So if I bring this one just over this page, it'll apply that topic there. Same if I just bring it over to the other side. Now, if you want to put the same topic on both pages, just hover that in the middle. You'll see both those pages highlight there. And that way you can do two pages at once there. So this is just really going through and kind of organizing your book. It's just the more you kind of put stuff in like this, it helps you keep you on track. And also, if you have people working on this, they're helping you. They come in the book and they can see what's going on too. Now, is a lot of this, if you're the lone person working on the yearbook, is all of this, necessary in order to getting the job done? It's always good to have a plan. You don't necessarily have to come and use this stuff. I mean, if you are just the lone person, if you want to just, if you have some kind of plan on a piece of notebook paper, that's great too. Just showing you though, that, here's a little in program tools that'll help you with that as well. Now, the last thing in this area that will show is kind of on section topics is the staff that we had here. So then you can, the staff that you created, you can then assign that staff to the different pages that are there. So again, kind of like when you were bringing the sections over, if you bring it over one page, it'll just do the page that you're doing it to. If you bring it over both, it'll apply that person to both pages there. Now, when it comes to assigned pages, and if you're working with a yearbook group, class, and you go through and assign pages, here are some kind of things that go along with that. So when you assign pages, only the person assigned to the page can edit the page. Now, all other logins that are here, they can browse past, they can look at that other person's page. They just won't be able to go on and move anything or edit it in any way. So they can see it, but since they're not assigned, they just can't edit it. Now, for pages that are left unassigned, so if you don't assign any student to them, they are open for anybody to work on. So if you're wanting it to, as an advisor, if you're coming through, you want to make sure that they're only working on the pages that you need them to. You'll want to make sure that all pages are assigned. And that's even as advisor, if you want certain pages the students not to work on, you can assign your advisor login to, and they won't be able to touch them. Now, the one good thing about the logins and that for the advisor is, from the advisor standpoint, it doesn't matter who is assigned. An advisor can go on to any page and make any changes they see fit. So that's the one place where that a login can supersede editing. So other staff, they can see but not edit. But if you're the advisor, you can go and help any student that you need with their page and jump on and help edit or help them edit the page. Um, let's see. And there's also filters here within our page ladder. So if you want to see just a certain amount of pages, or if you want to see who was assigned to what, you can do that. If you're looking through, page types, usually you won't do that one, but page status. So if you wanted to see which pages you had not started, you could filter out just that. Or in progress, which is better, shows those two. Locked and so on here. So little filters here. All right. Another thing here, at any time during the whole process, if you want to come through and if you're ever asked, or if you want to run a full book proof, like a proof of what the book looks like at that point in time, like if your principal or whoever, some higher admin needs a proof of the book there, go this print drop down. You do a print all. And what that will do is generate a PDF proof of what the book looks like at that time. Now, the PDF that generates from that tends to be a little too big to email. So I'd suggest putting it something on like Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive or something to share it that way. Or if a lot of schools have a lot of Microsoft SharePoint or something like that, you can put them on there. But it'll be too big to email. So that's why I was just saying, if you could put it on something like Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, and share it that way, that'll be the best way to get a proof to someone. All right. So moving on from the page ladder here, I'm going to go under Plan. So if you go under Plan, if you go to Fonts, this is where you're going to be, only advisors have access to this area. And actually, if I look at this drop down here, the difference between advisor and that, so everybody can see page ladder. Now the advisor has all these other options, but only staff is only able to see page ladder here. So even the staff area, font styles, photo share, this is all advisor access right here. So we'll just stick in fonts. You start off with 2 default fonts in here. I think it's like AYT Foundation Roman, AYT Foundation Sans. Now from that, there's a whole lot of fonts here in the program. But what you might do here, there's a type drop down that'll let you kind of navigate by the different styles. So script fonts that are here, serif body, where they have like the end caps and stuff like that. Serif fonts, just have a clean edge to them. And we also have decorative fonts. These are decorative fonts are good for a lot of the different candid pages and stuff like that. If you see a font that you like, you want to use in your book, just come over here and hit the, click that to active. Now, one thing I will let you know, something that we kind of seen, as soon as you hit this inactive button to make it active, that particular font jumps up to the very top of the screen. So if you're somewhere near the bottom of the list, so I'm going to activate like AYT Jinx here. It goes pretty quick, so it make it look like it didn't do anything. But as soon as you activate a font, it jumps up to the very top here. So just wanted to give you a heads up about that, because sometimes we've seen, I've done it myself. You may accidentally activate 10 fonts, not realizing that each time you were clicking, it was just shooting up to the top of the area. So just a little heads up on that. One click and they're activated. Now, as far as activating books in the yearbook, we usually suggest not picking more than 20. Um, and that's just more of for a consistency look throughout the yearbook. You are feel free to use as many fonts that you want, different fonts, different pages. Um, the 20 was just a recommendation if you were looking for a more consistent look through some stuff. But yeah, that's all we have for fonts here. Um, Under fonts is styles. Styles, these kind of these work with the text boxes that we have in our program. So the styles are just going to be how your text boxes start when you bring them on a page. You start with 6 or 5, I believe these first 5 here, default ones. You can make more, and this is just when you bring a text box onto a page, it's going to start at that size, that style, but once it's on there, it could be changed to something else. I just want to show you here. And then we're going to get down to photo share. All right, so what photo share site is what is going to be replacing our ReplayIt site. So we still have ReplayIt for this year. ReplayIt and photo share are going to be working side by side. Both, if you set them up, you're basically setting up a connected site that is just for uploading photos. So parents, teachers, students all will come to this site. They'll upload images. Images from that site will then come into your into an inbox here in the Memory Book Online. Both have basic setups here for ReplayIt. You're doing a top little box. You're setting a start date and end date, and you're enabling it. And when you save, it gives you a link to your site and a user ID. That link right there is all the parents will need to get in and contribute images. This link right here will, for an advisor, when sharing this link, it's good to put it into an email, standard email or text, newsletters, or if you have a school website, you have a school newsletter, put it there. One place that we have found that putting our link doesn't work very well is on Facebook. Um, and that's just because Facebook, something there changes the URL to where it doesn't make it valid. So a lot of times, if on Facebook, when a user would go to hit this link, instead of taking a parent in to upload their images, it was just bringing them to the login screen asking for a user ID, which this link is supposed to bypass, get them right in. So a lot of places this can be posted. Just if you're posting it somewhere, just try to just avoid putting it on Facebook, and you should be good. Now I'll go back here to photo share. We'll go to the new site, the new guy here. Um, Whenever you first get to the site here, this first top part here for school assets, this is something that's still kind of a work in progress. So the first year and all that, it might be, a lot of this is just going to be how it is. This is how the site. It's going to have a generic logo, the name we put in for the site, and just a primary color. Hopefully, by next season or down the road, hopefully we get this functionality added in. And it's just a way to personalize the site a little more. So it's not really has anything to do with functionality or that, but hopefully we'll get this down the road. Now, when you first come in here, you actually start off with 2 sections here: school life and portraits. School life, this is more or less the first one you'll turn on. Majority of it will use this. You'll flip it on and you'll set an end date. And then you'll see, here's you have generic message that comes in here. You can change this. All of this you could change, or you could leave this or add on to. But this is just a message that parents will see when they go to your site later. Another optional box that you can turn on, where if you were collecting, and it's kind of helps, but if you were collecting like senior photos, Not like candid activity shots and stuff like that, but if you're capturing like nice photos or maybe, baby photos, just single portraits of a particular person, that's what this is good for. And it has the same content box down below here, and you can set the same date or you can set a separate date for that. Um, but really easy setup. Really, I mean, flip the toggle, put a date, possibly edit the photo guidelines. Now, when you're ready for this to put this out, you'll go up and you'll hit Publish Changes. Excuse me. Now, after you publish changes, at this time, you'll come through here. You'll get a link that you can copy, and the same thing, you can put that into email, text, send that out to people. There is also, you can download a QR code and put it on. So if you were making your own flyer, you could add that into your own flyer, and then people could get to the site. We had a really good question a couple of days ago, kind of on this, because you could come back and actually turn off your ReplayIt site, or not ReplayIt, your photo share site here. Some will do that, like in between events. They will be like, okay, well, we're gonna, from this time to this time, we're gonna keep it open for first day of school photos. Maybe then we'll open it back up between this time and this time for fall festival or some whatever event that you have going on. Um, and they asked, if they turn it off and turn it back on and they hit republish again, does that change the link or does that change the QR code? And the awesome answer here is no, it doesn't. So if you create a flyer, you use this, if you change different dates, or you adjust this date and have to make your QR code is not changing. Like if you put a flyer out there, if you have this posted on your school website, the link's not going to change, the QR code's not going to change, even though you come in and change the date or something. So that was a great question that came through at that time, and also it kind of helped that advisor, if a path going forward. Okay, they can make a flyer and they don't have to worry about this changing for the school year. They don't have to make another flyer to get it back out there. So to see this in action, I'm actually going to put that link in real quick here. So they'll come in here, parents, students, they'll say, I'm a student, parent. I'll put myself in on this one. I'm going to be a senior today. Okay, so I'm going to put an email address in here, and then we have to click verify here. So after a little bit, there does, all the users will get a quick verification code come in from that email. So that came in very quick. I'm going to hit verify. And so here are the two sections that I have set up here. So as you can see by the look of the site, it's kind of very narrow in that. So this is really, while I'm on a desktop, this has really kind of been set up to work really well with smartphones. I have both sections on, so I'll share. So we're seeing those here. A lot of times you'll just have the school life when they'll hit share photos. It's going to let don't use stuff with filters, gestures. This is all kind of different stuff that was on your back here. It's this information that you had. So that's where that information is coming through. Okay, got it. And then they would just drop their image into here. Let's see if I can find one quick here for you. All right, so you tag yourself. Yep, do fast tag. So that's fast tag. We could also add more tags here to that, or if there's other topics that we want to do. So if I had stuff like that, different tags we put in here, and hit done. And then, so I put all the tags that I have. So a lot of tags that I would put in would be like a first day of school, or maybe you have put in here, make sure if you're doing stuff for events or particular event at that time, you might say, please use fall festival for tag, or, just whatever you want them. That way, when they come into the inbox, so I'm just going to hit that. They go back, they could share more photos if they want. All right. So I'm going to go back into Memory Book Online because I just wanted to show you how parents and teachers would get to this. It's pretty easy to set up from there. Now back on the site, those photos. So if I go under Create an Image Library, if I go under the inbox here, you're going to see your photo share inbox that's right here. And you'll see that School Life folder, and you'll see that Portraits folder. And here's our image that we just uploaded. And if I go into that, here's where our tags were from that we put there. And then that from there, based on your tags, you would then just be able to sort that to a folder that you had set up there. So that's photo sharing site. Just definitely take advantage of this. It's a great way to have the community contribute images to your yearbook project. That way, you're not stuck alone trying to have to go around and capture and gather so many photos. Let the school community help you out there. But it's definitely have them use photo share. Um, it, as far as easy and access, it's been pretty neat so far to go through. It's also set up for mobile, so it has a clean look there. So a lot of definitely should help get some more photos in on that. All right. So the last thing that I guess we're kind of wrap up on from here is just going into the next installment, what we're looking in for, because we're getting into that time period where a lot of everybody is getting set up for school photos. So I know a lot of picture days are coming up. I know a lot of picture days. Actually, it's next week for my children. So it's coming up. So what do we do about once we get those class photos? So next, in a couple weeks from now, we're going to be going over working with portraits and all that. But in the meantime, what to look for once you get your class photos coming to you. So definitely, once you get basically a lot of it has gone to where photographers are sending out links these days as opposed to an actual physical CD. A lot are doing Google Drive shares and stuff like that. So here's if you by chance you do get a CD in, please still send that in. If you get a link or some kind of share, we have a process for that. But usually with the link, you'll forward that on to your rep, or for share, it may come back here tech support. But we have a share process here to share those class photos. So what we're going to do is we're going to treat the links and the shares just like how we used to CDs. So you send that into us, and we will then we have two sort methods. We have a by grade and by teacher. So you let us know how you want those sorted. So typically when we get this, the benefit of sending it into us is we have a tool here that uploads the index file that's along with those photos from your photographer. So when we get that file, it uploads. We have a tool here that uploads it into the program, brings photo and name in at the same time. That tool, us doing that for you saves you a lot of time. Just on the customer side of things, it would be you uploading all your images and then having to put a name on each one by one. That's something we want to take off your plate. So just if you get that link or CD, um, just to send that in, and we can take care. Let us know how you want them uploaded, and we'll get those into the account for you. But I just wanted to kind of touch base on that. Um, Leading in. But as far as what we're covering today, just getting started on setting things up, getting some fonts going, um, going over your page ladder. That is pretty much what I had for today. If there's, I've got 10, 15 minutes here, or how, whatever time we have, but I'm good to open this up for any Q&A. So if anyone has any questions, feel free. If you want to unmute yourself, or if you want to put a question into the chat, and then I can read it out. But next 10 minutes or so, I'll open this up to you guys. Okay. Appreciate the few thankful that are there. Did we get one question? Will we get a recording or a FAQ of this webinar? This is recording now, so more or less by tomorrow afternoon, we should have this one posted and a link sent out to everybody that signed up. Just don't have enough time to review it after we get done here, and then if it's good or not. But we will get that out to you hopefully by mid tomorrow. My school keeps photos at SmugMug. Can I move photos directly from there to this site? Probably not. As far as how connected things are, usually, and we find this a lot of times on certain sites like that, you'll have to download them from the site and then upload them to the library that is there, or send them to us from SmugMug. I guess I've never heard of SmugMug before, but yeah, that might be something we might kind of check into later. But a lot of times it's downloading the photos from those particular photo sites and then uploading them. How do you add? Okay, next question. How do you add and delete staff members on the tab? Um, so if you were talking about like how do you remove them from here, um, or if you're talking about removing them from here, so one, it's just there's a little X here. We'll take them off the page. But if we didn't want the staff showing up here anymore, it's going back under the staff area and deleting that staff person. All right, next question. Would the photo share be something good for the advisor to use as well? To send photos to myself and said download it? Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, if you the advisor have photos on your own phone, um, then yeah, definitely it's a good way to contribute them. It a lot of times it depends also on the phone that you have. Um, I will say this: sometimes I feel like you're out and about and you want to upload something quick. Um, but I have an Android, like my phone's an Android here, so it's like if I ever do find the time, I usually sit and hook it to USB and treat it like a USB drive and pull it off that way and upload to the site. But you know what? I really like how well that new photo share is working, especially on mobile. So definitely it's beneficial to advisors too. So go for it. Can you show how to move the pages? I'm sure it's simple. Okay. We didn't really go over that. That's usually something we go over later. But just to go over it quick on moving pages, if you go under Create and Page Mover, um, we usually show this later and kind of some of the other ones, but it's right here. It's just basically drag and drop the spreads around, and they shift around. And then the pages shift accordingly. But yeah, if you want to move pages, go under Create and Page Mover. Okay. Well, not seeing any other questions that came in on that. So I might think unless one slips right in, I think we might be good to call it a day here. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully, by showing examples in the areas of logging in, welcome page, adding fonts, getting your pages set up with section of titles. Hopefully, this will kind of make it seem like creating your book will be less of a challenge, and you can avoid some of those pitfalls that come with any kind of software using built books. So definitely, when it comes time getting class photos, make sure to get those sent into that. Sending in that CD is going to pay off and some time savings down the road. So feel free, join us in a couple weeks from now, and then we're going to be going over getting in those class photos, and once those class photos are uploaded, show you how to build some class pages. So thank you again, everybody, and we will see you later.